Good morning, Keith. How are you?
Very good morning. I'm glad you found the record button. That's great.
I'm
Start.
glad I found it too. And um, welcome everybody. I don't know if you saw Sarah's latest magazine. It just got posted. Was it yesterday, Sarah? Can you share it in the chat?
Yes, of course I can. Yes.
That
We
would be
have
great.
Yes, we have an exclusive, so I'm pretty excited about that. Miss
I'm very
Carlene is on
excited.
the cover.
You put it up on the Facebook pages that I have, so people will see what you're doing.
Awesome. Thank you, Lynn.
You'll need to unlock your iPhone first.
Is that you,
my-
Lynn?
My phone was talking to me. It's weird. I didn't talk to it.
That's funny. All righty, so I'm going to tell you a little intro to Keith. I found Keith on Lunch with Lynn, and my husband has had psoriasis and eczema for golly, I can't even remember. Let's say
Long
at least
time.
15 years, regular breakout, at least 15 years, like itchy, bad, horrible breakout. And he recently realized that he could like not eat nightshades, and that really helped a lot. And so he quit eating nightshades. That helped a lot, but he's still very, very itchy. And if you know anything about psoriasis and eczema, it's just horrible on your skin. It looks horrible. It feels horrible. But he has been using whatever Ken told him to use. Ken, I'll let you tell that in a minute. But and I don't notice him itching anymore. He says he's still itchy, but I don't notice him itching. Like his itching used to drive me bananas because and I'm not a picker and not an itcher. Like I would never scratch myself or itch anything sore on me, but he always does, and it drove me nuts. And I don't notice it anymore. And so I'm going to say we've been doing this, what, 6 weeks maybe? Do you think, Keith?
Yeah, in and around. He did a microbiome gut reset as a starting point.
And that
resetting
6
the gut.
weeks, huge difference.
Yeah, and it's still early days because a microbiome gut reset, it takes a little bit of time to starve the bad bacteria and to feed the good bacteria and to get that good bacteria back into control. But when that happens, it's quite a change because a lot of skin disorders can actually start in the gut.
All right, Miss Lynn, you have your hand up.
Oh, do I?
You better say
I
something
didn't know.
wise if your hand's up,
Oh.
Lynn.
Wanted to know, what are nightshades?
Oh, nightshades. They're
Vegetables.
potatoes, tomatoes, peppers, but not sweet potatoes. So it's not necessarily anything that grows in the ground, but it's mainly like tomatoes, potatoes, peppers, anything with lectins in it. And the peppers and tomatoes are really, really bad. And that's unfortunate because he loved, like, he was a guy that would grab a tomato and a salt shaker and just eat it.
Me too.
Look.
So I mean, what is it doing to him?
I don't know. They're high in lectins, I think is what it is. And that makes it exasperates the eczema and psoriasis. And so we've had to completely change our diet. No paprika either. And that's a big deal. Like if you cook, we cook with paprika. A lot of our sauces and things we do have paprika in them. And so, and I mean, I'll do anything for my husband, of course, but we had stroganoff last night for dinner. I actually cooked, which is not an but I did. And we had my sister and her husband over, and I had to make stroganoff without paprika, and it's just never the same. But
I need it in my potato salad too. I have to have it in my potato salad.
oh yeah, I put it on my deviled eggs. I mean, we use it a lot. And so, yeah, he's had some real health changes he's made along with starting what Keith does. But Keith, when we start this, why don't you tell us how you got into this? You've been in it 17 years. Tell us about the business that you're in, the company that you're representing, and how you got in it and how you got started.
Like all good things, it was by accident because somebody said to me one day, you know that it is now possible to reverse heart disease. And I sort of lifted an eyebrow and said, okay, if this is true, it's really big news. So I have a tendency to be a certain amount skeptical, and I need to prove things to myself. So I had my cardiovascular system analyzed. I was 46 at the time. My cardiovascular age was that of a 40-year-old. I went on to the Vital 3 protocol for 3 months and had my my vascular system analyzed again, and my vascular age had actually dropped down from a 40-year-old to a 22-year-old. And then 2 months later, I had it checked again, and my cardiovascular age had come down to a teenager. That was all the proof I needed to know that the information was correct. It was possible to do that. And I felt compelled to share that information with as many people as possible ever since.
That's crazy. So I'm not sure what other things go along with going back to feeling like a 20-year-old. Because I don't want to lose my knowledge, right? Like I worked really
Well-
hard to get this experience and knowledge in life. But
Well,
boy, if
you
my
would
body can
avoid-
get back there.
you'd avoid going back into nappies for some time. But the idea is that the vascular system that we were measuring is based on what's called a central aortic systolic pressure, which is the blood pressure in the heart at the left ventricle. And there's a table of what the average should be for a certain age group. The other thing we were measuring was the radial augmentation index, which is like the percentage stiffness of the arteries. So as we age, we build up more plaque in the arteries, so therefore they lose their flexibility. But when we start melting that plaque and cleaning the arterial system, you get the flexibility back. So that's why we talk about lowering the age of your vascular system. It means it's being cleaned.
That's interesting. I wonder if I know you're just going to talk about the heart part, but I wonder if what it does for the tubes coming from your kidneys. I say this
Everything will benefit.
well, when I had kidney stones a few years back, horrible kidney stones, like 9 millimeter kidney stones, right? And they had to
Yep.
put stents in because they thought everything would collapse.
Yep.
And then they, of course, removed the stents eventually. But I wonder if it can strengthen those tubes, whatever they're called. I'm not a medical person, and that is probably the only time I've gone to the doctor. But I wonder if they can if it will strengthen and help those tubes. They just said that 9 millimeter. I had 7 kidney stones in 1 year. The 9 millimeter was stuck there for a long time. They said, like everything was shaped around it. So, yeah.
When you produce enough nitric oxide, you don't only melt plaque in the arterial system, but you strengthen the wall of the veins and arteries also. So that lowers the risk of a rupture. Actually, there was a lady I was helping in the US who had an aneurysm on her brain, but as she was using the V3, the aneurysm was actually decreasing.
And so I wonder, and this is just me being curious, if you were a smoker for, say, I don't know, 15 years or 20 years, and then you quit and then you started doing something like this, does that help with inside your lungs? And how does that help with inside your lungs?
It would, because number one, a smoker makes half the nitric oxide that a non-smoker makes. So this is why a smoker is going to run into trouble before a non-smoker. And when you increase your nitric oxide production, you are going to repair everything, because all 100,000 miles of your cardiovascular system can repair. You can clean the whole thing. And day by day, even if somebody has built up issues in their cardiovascular system, day by day, they are reversing that and eliminating the risk of a cardiovascular incident.
Does anybody have any questions before we move on?
I'm just fascinated by this information. I
Right.
really am.
Right.
And
And I think
when you talk about kidneys as well, we have even seen people get off dialysis using these products because the kidneys function better.
And I think for me that I believe, and this is my personal belief, and everybody's welcome to theirs, but I believe that God created our bodies and we know everything about our bodies, the cellular structure, everything that goes into it, right? He created that with the purpose of being able to heal itself. You don't put that much work into something and not have a backup plan. And so I feel like
Yep.
within ourselves, we have the ability to heal ourselves. Now, that's not to say that we can go live a horrible life and do all the things and still be healthy. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying we have to do our part too, but for me, never, I mean, I avoid doctors like I avoid the plague, because even with my kidney stones, 7 trips to get kidney stones, and then I think 3 times they had to remove them. And never once could they tell me why, what was causing it, what to do different. They did say the same things over and over. Don't eat leafy greens, no coffee, no tea, no hard water. And I was like, okay, but, and I need to exercise. And I was like, okay, well, I walk 14 miles a day and I really don't have time for more than 2.5 hours a day of exercise. That's a lot. And I don't eat leafy greens because I listen to my body. My body's never liked leafy greens. So I've avoided those altogether. I don't drink tea and I don't drink coffee. And so none of those things were changes I could make. And I would say, okay, so what do we do? What's causing this? What do I need to do different? They're like, we don't know. Here's some pain meds. I'm like, I don't want
Well-
pain meds. Well, yeah, you do. You're dying in pain. Take them and we'll talk. I'm like, I'm not going to talk. I'm not going to take them and talk to you because I'll be loopy as hell. And number 2, I've never opened the other ones you gave me, so I don't need pain meds. But very first thing when I show up, they're like, let's just refill your prescription. I don't need it refilled. I need to know the root cause so I can get around it, work with my body to get it and avoid that. And unfortunately, I never really figured that out. It just kind of ended. And thank goodness.
Some-
knock on wood.
sometimes somebody might have a lack of something like vitamin D, which is helpful in distributing where calcium goes to. There can be, your body could be collecting the calcium in one place because the distribution mechanism is not up to scratch.
Could be. Could be.
So, and I would have put leafy greens in a much higher category as being needed than not needed, because what do greens do with your diet? Greens are going to detox organs, they're going to cleanse the blood, they're going to improve the pH. And if you don't have those greens, those jobs are not happening.
So this is interesting that you mentioned this, because if I go eat broccoli right now, I will have kidney pain like it's killing me. But, and I don't know why, I don't know if I'm not systematically breaking it down correctly, but if I drink, a chlorophyll drink or another green drink,
Yep.
things like that, it's fine. Doesn't bother it a bit.
Yeah.
Why is that?
There's something not balanced correctly within the body, and then that might be reason to look at microbiome gut reset, which actually causes a reset on everything. Because remember, your gut has a controlling effect on every system in your body. So a lot of people are eating a diet where they have overfed the bad bacteria and underfed the good bacteria, and now the bad bacteria is in control instead of the good, which then has a knock-on negative effect on every system in your body. And when you have the correct ratio of good and bad bacteria, i.e. 85% good and 15% bad, they lock together and create a wall, and that wall stops toxins leaking from the gut into the bloodstream. But when you have the incorrect ratio of good and bad bacteria, you get breaches in that wall. And those breaches in the wall cause then certain toxins to leak from the gut into the bloodstream, which causes an inflammatory response. So until you heal that and get the correct ratio right and get the wall back built, then certain foods that somebody's eating are causing an inflammatory reaction.
Interesting. And so let's just talk about inflammation in general, because I know we all have a ton of inflammation in our bodies,
Yes.
right? How
Yeah.
do we control that?
Well, you know the way that the Vital 3 protocol that I have used for 17 years. One part of that V3 system, we call it Mystify here in Europe. It's called Mystica in the US. That is a natural anti-inflammatory, and it's going to help the body to take care of inflammation. And it's a very powerful anti-inflammatory. A friend of mine actually fell up the stairs one night going to bed, and her knee went all inflamed. So she drank a glass of Mystica going to bed. But by the time she woke up in the morning, the inflammation was gone down. So
the
that-
Mystica is that as
the raw berries.
how do you drink a glass of it? She must be putting it in water.
She drank a glass of it neat. You see, it depends what you need to
You
achieve and
drink
how
it
much volume.
straight?
Straight, yes. I mean, it's like a smoothie.
I guess if you think of it that way, I would rather mix it with ice and call it a smoothie. It's very
Yeah,
thick.
it is thick, but it is just a smoothie. But you know the way you can 30 mils of that. Do you measure different than mils in the US?
Yes.
Well,
So
every teaspoon would be 5 mils. So 6 teaspoons of Mystica from an antioxidant perspective would be the same as eating 3.5 kilos of raw fruit. It's a very powerful
and a
food.
kilo is how much? 3 to 5?
A kilo is 2.2 pounds in a kilo.
Okay, so almost okay. So now I'm going to go on here and look because I want you to tell us about the 3 products you just mentioned. I want
I was
everybody
just
to know
gonna say,
about
Keith,
those,
you
and I
have
believe
different
I'm
products
using.
for different things.
Sorry, say that again, Lynn.
I said, do you have different products for different things, Keith?
Well, the Vital 3 would be the main part of anybody's health. But when somebody needs to reset the gut, we have a Purify kit for resetting the gut on top of that. But most of the health challenges that we've helped people reverse, which would be things as serious as MS and lupus and HIV and getting off dialysis and diabetes issues, all of those were just done using the Vital 3 protocol. And the Vital 3 protocol are 3 things. One of them is called Pro Arginine Plus. It is an arginine complexer, which is the food that the body needs so as it can massively increase nitric oxide production. And most people don't manufacture enough nitric oxide because, number one, they have inhibitors to nitric oxide production, or they're a smoker, or they're doing things that interfere with the body's capability of manufacturing nitric oxide. But an average person is only making between 1 and 3 seconds worth after consuming foods that contain the amino acid arginine. But by taking Pro-Arginine Plus, and then you can play with the dosages. Every sachet is 5 grams of pure elemental arginine. So you can work up your dosages according to what you want to achieve and how fast you want to achieve it. But we can boost nitric oxide production up to and beyond 36 hours worth instead of just 1 to 3 seconds. Now the body starts cleaning the arterial system, repairing anything within there. And we actually have even seen people reverse things like stroke and dementia and the need for bypass surgery.
What form does this thing come in? Is it a pill? Is it a?
It's a powder. It's a powder that you mix with water and then you drink it.
Do you have one right there handy, or shall I grab one?
Oh, Keith,
mix
tell
it up
me
with water and drink it
honestly,
properly.
Keith, what does this stuff taste like? Is this crappy tasting? I mean,
No.
I'm
No.
just gonna
This is actually really nice.
what does it taste
It's
like?
citrus berry flavor. It's citrus berry flavor, but there's also
Yeah,
in
but
the
you know,
US,
I
there's
mean,
a
I've taken some over-the-counter medicine that said it was citrus berry flavored, and it was putrid. It was terrible.
Okay,
So,
okay, then I'm going to
no,
tell you what
I'm
it tastes
thinking,
like.
I'm
Are
thinking
you
about
ready?
trying this stuff, but I'm thinking about trying it. But I don't want to throw up. I want to make sure I'm gonna get it and
No.
like it.
So let me tell you, Lynn, if number one, if you drop me your information, I'll send you one of a couple different flavors. I think I have grape, I have citrus, and I have grape, citrus berry, and one other one. All
Wait, you
different
have
products.
different choices?
monk fruit.
Yeah.
There's another one called monk fruit.
I don't think I have monk fruit. I don't know what I have, but anyways, I will I'll send you some samples. And I don't sell the stuff either, but the grape is my favorite.
Okay.
I like the grape. I am not a citrus person. I'm actually allergic to citrus. I'm allergic if you take a citrus peel and squeeze it, like you peeled it off an orange and you squeeze it and it makes that little spray, I break
Yeah.
out in blisters from that. So I avoid citrus, like playing with it. I don't desire citrus. And I did not like the
Okay.
citrus mixed berry one. I think it's citrus mixed berry. I didn't like that one. It wasn't bad. It just wasn't for me. Now,
Just
I
wasn't you.
love the, what's the green drink called? How did I forget this?
Liquid chlorophyll is called in the US.
yeah,
It's
the
called
chlorophyll.
Phytolife here in Europe.
That doesn't even
Yeah.
sound good though.
It
Oh, yeah.
has a mint flavor. It's like mint water.
Did you ever drink creme de
Mhm.
menthe?
No, and I don't want that
peppermint
either.
flavor.
I'm gonna go with her grapey thing. That sounds better
It's
to
a
me.
it's a peppermint flavor. It is
Yeah.
the only reason somebody
like
might not like the taste of the raw greens in the first couple of days if their body's very acidic. If your body's very acidic, this is an alkaline drink. So there's a little bit of adjustment for your body to correct its pH from being acidic to alkaline. Then
But
you
I
love it.
I see these people drinking these green shakes that are supposed to make them healthy, and I just think that I can't do that. That's like just blending up a bunch of grass and drinking it. I can't do that. Sorry, I can't.
No,
Well-
that'll be a different type of product. This is just a nice peppermint flavored, refreshing drink.
See? That's this. And I
Okay,
put mine
so
in a blender ball. I
what is
add
that
ice.
what is that particular drink that she's drinking? What is that gonna fix?
That's
This is
the
chlorophyll.
that's the
This is my
arginine,
chlorophyll.
yes. Oh,
This
that's your
is my
chlorophyll.
chlorophyll.
What that's going to do is correct the pH of the body. So 9 people out of 10 are acidic. They should not be acidic. They should be
How do you
alkaline.
know if you are?
Oh, you pee on a little strip.
You can
Oh.
do that, or you can if you have an acidic based health challenges like chronic pain, arthritis, osteoporosis, acid reflux, or cancer, they are all a sign that the body is acidic and invited those conditions in on it. But
Okay.
9 people out of 10 are. So this is to correct the pH of the body. It's to detox the organs. It's to improve the blood quality. I don't know whether you know it or not, but there's the molecular makeup of human hemoglobin and the molecular makeup of chlorophyll, the green coloring in plants. They're the exact same molecule, except for the central ion for chlorophyll is magnesium. The central ion for human hemoglobin is iron. But when chlorophyll goes into the body, it turns the magnesium ion into an iron ion. So the higher quality raw greens you get into your body, it is the next best thing to a blood transfusion.
God, that's why they keep telling me I have to eat salads with weeds, and I just can't do it. I eat the crappy lettuce that has nothing in it, but it's crunchy and it's good, and that doesn't count.
Well, every 2 teaspoonfuls of this is the same as eating a kilo, which is 2.2 pounds of leafy green veg.
Well, then I wouldn't have to eat the weeds.
Now you have it.
But I can. That stuff that fixes that comes in grape.
No, the grape is the arginine complexer. That's the one to boost nitric oxide. So there's 3 different products. One is the arginine complexer for increasing nitric oxide to repair the vascular system. One is
That's
the
the
live
grape,
raw
right?
berries, and the other one is the live raw greens. Yes, you have 3 flavors in the arginine complexer, and there's only 1 flavor in the Mystica, the raw berries, and there's only 1 flavor in the liquid chlorophyll.
What flavor is the liquid chlorophyll?
Mint.
Peppermint. Mint.
Oh,
And it's not bad. It's not bad. So when I do my chlorophyll in the morning, I just put ice in my cup, and then I take like a NyQuil container and put my chlorophyll in it and pour it in there, and then add water and just shake it up and drink it throughout the day. And then the other one, I just add hot water in the bottom of my cup, add my powder packet, shake it up, add my ice and my water to fill it up, and then try to do that. I try to do all of these. I do them in the morning just because in the afternoon I'm running. I'm not sitting somewhere where I have a drink steady.
So you take 3 different things. Is that right, Colleen?
I take
Yeah.
Mystica, and I take the chlorophyll, and I take Mystica was out last time, Keith. I tried to buy it. They're sold out. So I take Mystica, chlorophyll,
back.
and I think is it the Pro 9? What is the one that the grape one?
Yeah, Pro Arginine Plus, and that's so it's an arginine complexer plus other ingredients. That's why it's called Pro Arginine Plus.
So how long have
And
you been
by the
taking
way-
this stuff?
6 weeks.
17 years for me.
No, it's okay, Keith. So she's been taking it 6 weeks. So I know you said, listen, this is not a magic pill. I get that. But how long will it take before she actually can see something happening?
Well,
to
that's
be
all it
honest,
took for Rocky. For Rocky, it took about 3 weeks, and I saw a difference in his psoriasis and eczema.
but choline is only on 1 sachet a day, which is a really small amount. So ideally, you have to go higher than that to get decent results.
Okay, sorry, I know Ken's had her hand up for a million years here. I want to make sure she gets
Oh,
her.
go Ken. I'm sorry I didn't
I
see you.
love her.
So I just want to ask Keith because I'm starting to have rheumatoid arthritis and I'm young, but I'm starting to have that. So it's a kind of, I think, a form of autoimmune, RA
Yes.
they call it. And I
And it's
also have a
also
friend
acidic.
that have it, and like it makes your knee inflamed, right? And big and swelling, and it's hard to walk. So the Mystica that you mentioned that has to do with inflammation, would it help if you take that?
All three products would help because number one, the Mystica will lower inflammation. Number two, the Vitalife will correct your pH because osteoarthritis is an acidic condition. And then the arginine opens the blood flow and restores the flow of blood back into the joint so the joint can repair.
Okay, thank you, Keith.
So Ken, I'm gonna
We've
say
even-
prayers for you.
Thank you,
We've even
Lynn.
seen people who were told they need a hip replacement go on the V3 protocol plus collagen and no longer need a hip replacement.
So Keith, if you're doing your program, how much
Yeah.
stuff do I have to drink? Because I'm not a big drinker either. I'm always in trouble for being dehydrated, not drinking enough stuff.
Well, and being dehydrated is not helpful to your health. So
No,
it would be helpful to drink more liquids, and doing a program like this actually gets more liquid into your system.
So
I
I
think
drink
I-
2 of these a day, one of chlorophyll and one from my Pro Arginine, and then I drink a little cup of the Mystica, like a shot glass of it.
so it's 3 things that you drink every day.
Yep.
And if you don't want to mix the liquid greens with water, well, that's a lot less volume.
But your body needs water, sweetheart.
You can drink
You're
it
made
neat.
of water.
Yeah, I'm just saying, if she's
Can
worried
I-
about taking too much liquid, you can take it
Keith,
without the
can I-
water, but it is better
Keith,
to have
can
it with
I-
water.
Can I mix them with my sparkling water?
You know that sparkling water is acidic.
Well, how come I'm not screwed up then? Because I drank that a lot.
Yes.
Maybe you are and you don't know.
Water should be neutral pH. As soon as it's carbonated, you make it acidic.
So I have to pee on these little strips like I'm taking a pregnancy test to figure out if I got a problem, right?
You can lick it on your tongue too.
Oh, where do I get
Yeah,
that?
you can-
Where do I get that stuff to check
Yeah,
me
but
out?
Walgreens or
don't
Eckerd.
mix it up. Don't mix them up.
Yeah. I don't want to reuse my strip.
Ugh. Walgreens or Eckerd's, they have a little bottle like this, just pH strips.
Okay, and then I pee on the strips. Now I know what my problem is if I have one. And then I
Well-
have to get this stuff from Keith, right?
Well, because 9 people out of 10 are acidic, there is a high possibility, unless you're eating greens, that you are acidic.
I'm not eating weeds, I'll tell you now. I'm eating
Yeah,
iceberg
so-
lettuce that has nothing in it, but it's my
Yeah.
favorite.
That's my favorite kind too. I like the white part. The whiter, the better.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
that's better.
So every time I have a meal, doesn't matter what meal it is, I go to the fridge, I pour a little bit of the liquid chlorophyll or the Vitalife, whichever country that you're in, into a bottom of a shot glass and I drink it. That's going to give me the greens that wasn't in that meal. It's going to help digest that meal. And it's also going to be doing all the jobs the greens does.
So now I have to drink that green stuff multiple times a day?
I have it every time I have food.
I know.
How often?
I
do you
think
eat?
you take yours and drink it throughout the day though, right? Or you make a new bottle every
If you
time.
wish, yeah, if you wish to do it that way, you can do it that way. But I just take mine after every meal because it's helping me digest that meal.
How many times a day do you eat, Keith?
A lot of the time it's only twice.
Okay. Does this interact in a negative way with any medications that you might be on?
Only if you're not allowed to eat food with those medications.
Oh, I don't know what kind of medicine that would be.
Exactly.
Usually my
This is
medicine,
my
my
point. This
medicine
is
all says take it with food.
yeah, this is only food. So how, unless somebody's not allowed to eat food, there shouldn't be an issue.
Okay. Okay.
But it's the
This is
food
extremely interesting.
that
This is very interesting, Colleen, because I never get to talk to Keith longer than just a few minutes in my meeting. So I love being here. And I think all the idiots that didn't get on here are really missing out. They don't realize that having this time like with your co-host is great.
Well, I think
Ye-
this, when I sat down with Keith, and y'all know, like you've been around me a little bit, you know that my husband is old school farmer, right? Flip phone. He's just a farmer. I literally said, Keith, hang on. I'm going to go drag my husband in here. He needs to hear this. I made him come in and sit and listen. And he was like, oh, I need this. And the thing is that I feel like for me, like maybe I want to talk about the differences and the changes I've seen in myself in the 6 weeks. And they're not as drastic as my husband's. Like he literally I could tell if he'd use the bathroom because he'd itch his knee while he had his pants down in there going to the bathroom, and there'd be dry skin on the rug. It was that bad. And since probably the second week, I haven't seen him itch. It hasn't like I would sit across the living room from him at night and be like, okay, that's enough. Stop scratching. I've made special lotions for him out of herbs and things. I'm like, put this on, quit touching, quit scratching. And I haven't even noticed since probably the second week that he's scratching at all.
Wow.
That's huge because it was so bad. Like on his knees and on his feet was really bad. And in his scalp, and it's not in his scalp at all anymore. Now for me, it's funny you said that about the chlorophyll can taste bad if your pH is bad, because the first 2 or 3 days I took it, I was like, I think this shit is bad. Like it tastes like dirt. Who eats this? And I was like, I don't remember chlorophyll tasting like this. I was raised on this. I drank it all the time. I was like, this has got to be bad. I think I threw a bottle away because I thought it was bad because it tasted like dirt. It doesn't taste like dirt anymore, though.
because you've
So,
corrected your
How
pH.
did you get past that tasting like dirt and force yourself to drink it then?
I just drank it anyways. You know what? I've done a lot of hard things in life. I gave birth. I've had 5 C-sections. I can drink something that it takes 2 seconds to swallow. As
Oh,
long as
man.
it's not like my husband will make a concoction. Well, he doesn't anymore because he did it so many times. I throw it up every time. Well, he would take a concoction he'll put fresh garlic and cayenne in a little cup and put a little bit of water on it and have me drink it if I got sick. And it's fine. I could drink it. Like I literally am like, okay, and I'll chase it with a shot of Coke, right? And then I'm like, and I throw it up every time. So after probably 5 times of doing this, he quit giving it to me. But I make it through. I mean, that's some nasty stuff. When your pH is off that bad, it is nasty. But here's the thing that I found too is that we started probably 2 weeks ago buying these little salad kits from Aldi's. You know that I wouldn't say they have lettuce in them. I don't know if they have lettuce in them. They have like broccoli and cabbage and different greens, kale, things like that in them, right? But they do qualify as leafy greens. And then it's got the sauce in it or the dressing and maybe some sunflowers or some little tortilla strips or something, some corn in the one that I really like. And I've eaten those. And I tell you what, I ate them because I was starving. Like my husband was out of town. There was nobody here to cook for me. And so I threw the salad together. I ate the entire thing and it didn't bother my kidneys.
Keith, what is
But-
that pink stuff you're drinking?
The pink
That's the
I'm
Pro
drinking-
Arch 9 Plus.
Oh, yeah, mine's just in a purple container.
So you're drinking that berry stuff, right? The citrus berry thing?
I'm drinking the citrus berry. We only have one flavor here in Europe. We have the citrus
Yeah.
berry, whereas you have
Why
3
are you
flavors
guys
in
so
the US.
backwards that you can't have
Yeah,
all the
thank
choices?
God we're not in Europe.
Well, we're because there's more demand in the US for different flavors.
Is it really that tough to send you your packets there of whatever kind you want?
Say that again?
Is it really all that difficult for them to send you the kinds that you want to Ireland?
Well,
There isn't as big a
in
demand.
order to populate new flavors of proarginine throughout the whole of Europe, it's a lot of stock that they would have to put in there. But
Oh,
nobody's really looking for different flavors here. We've only ever had the one. It works fantastically, and we're getting fabulous results, and that's the main thing.
you guys just don't know any better.
Yeah, well, we know when you start dealing with someone in the US, you know that it's there, but
Oh, okay.
it's not a big deal because most
Sorry,
people are
Keith,
using
I'm
this
glad I
because they
live
want to
here.
get better.
Sorry, Keith. I'm glad I live here where I have choices. Sorry. Okay. Okay. So I'm learning a lot of stuff here.
There's a lot
That's
to learn,
good.
I tell you what.
How expensive
Every
is
day is
this
a school
stuff?
day.
I just placed an order for myself and my husband, and it was $3.94. So I
And
don't
how
know.
Depends on how much you're getting.
That was one box of the grape. No, it's a 2-pack. It's a box, single serve pack. It's 2-pack of grape, and then one chlorophyll, one Mystica, and then the Purify that my husband's on is $200 for his, which has the protein shake, 2 boxes of stuff, and 2 bottles of probiotics.
So you
How
got the
long will that
Purified
last?
kit for him again.
Yeah, I do. This will be my 3rd time buying it. But the thing is that, I mean, I don't know. I guess I reached an age where I'm like, expensive compared to what? Because if we go to dinner at the Vineyard one night, it's $125, and we could
Yeah,
easily
but
do that every
how
week.
long?
So,
How long will that last you?
a month.
Okay.
So, all things
Well-
considered, I don't know.
What happened to Sarah? Where'd she go?
She had
Oh,
to.
she
She put a
had
message there.
another
She had to
call
go.
hop on.
Oh, I thought she's just trying to find a friend who lives in the U.S. that can send her another flavor.
Well, I don't know, but I'm a friend in the US who could send her something, but
There-
there's
There's a
that.
lot of people in the US. They're using say 2 sets of each of the V3 per month, and it's around $300 for the 6 products.
Now, Ken, aren't you in the Philippines?
I'm in Cambodia right now.
Oh, Cambodia. What does she get choices of, Keith?
I'm not sure that Synergy is open in Cambodia. I don't think it's open in Cambodia. But what I'll do is I'll try and find something that might be similar that you can access there.
But can I order online and they deliver here even though they're not available here?
No, they'll only deliver in countries that they have opened properly, that there's a warehouse system, and they have
Oh,
got
okay.
the correct paperwork in place for those products for that country.
Can you
Can't they
send
hurry
it to
up
her,
and
Keith?
can't they hurry up and make an agreement with Amazon? They're like everywhere.
Yeah, actually we cannot order directly from Amazon from here, but there's a company that they do like they have I don't know, like someone from the US that orders Amazon and send it here, but directly to Amazon we cannot. I don't know. Cambodia is not there yet.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. And that guy's wealthy and he hasn't even hit the whole world yet.
Keith, can you ship to her?
To Cambodia.
Yeah.
I'm not aware of how that can be done at the minute, but there are countries that are open in the Far East. I need to look them up and liaise.
Ken, you
How,
gotta come. Yes, we love you. We want you here.
I think that this has been very informative. I want to know, Keith, what's the most drastic change you've seen in somebody that you've personally dealt with this?
Yeah, when we were out in out in Nigeria in 2018, there was a lady there who had spent 5 years in bed from a stroke with no feeling on one side of her body for 5 years. And her daughter got the V3 to give to her mother, and her mother was on the products just 5 weeks. When so every morning, either herself or her brother had to go in and help her mother sit up in the bed because she couldn't get herself up. But she went in this particular morning and her mother was actually sitting out at the side of the bed. And she asked her mother, had her brother got her up? And she says, no. She says, I got myself up because I'm getting back the feeling in the dead side of my body.
Ooh.
Because what happened was the nitric oxide increase was causing her body to be able to melt the clot that was stuck in her brain, which then was giving her back her feeling. And
Wow.
back a good few years ago, I got a phone call and I was asked would I meet a couple who, when I met them, they had their 3-month-old daughter with them who had been born with a heart defect and was told at the 3-month point, she had spent the first 3 months of her life in hospital on oxygen 24/7, feeding tube down through the nose. And they were told just to bring her home, see how long she might last and enjoy the time left with her. So when I met them, that baby was in that pram with the oxygen tank beside her, with the oxygen mask and everything else. And they told me the whole story from start to finish. And I said to them, look, I understand from a medical perspective, they have told you nothing can be done. But I said, from a natural perspective, if we give that baby the mechanism to increase nitric oxide production, if we give her some fabulous nutrition to work with, she may work on her own problems. They said that was a perfect opportunity to actually try something that can help, because otherwise they were sorting out a funeral. So I guided the mother on what to get in through the feeding tube, through the nose, how much of each product and when and all the rest, and guided her. And that child actually started school 5 years ago.
Oh my goodness, how wonderful. That's a great story.
Keith,
There's tons of stories over the last 17 years. I remember doing a cardiovascular screening on a guy who was told he needed a triple bypass. And he said, I don't particularly want to have my chest cranked open and go for the bypass. And he went on to the V3. He went up on 4 sachets a day for 3 months, plus the normal amounts of Mystica and liquid chlorophyll. And he went back into the private hospital 3 months later for a pre-op examination. And they did another scan on him that morning. And the technician who came up to the cardiologist's office to hand him the latest scan of that morning, when he put it into the computer, he looked at it and he said, that's not his. and the technician said, well, I'm nearly sure it is, but I'll go down and check. And he went down and he checked and he came back up. He says, no, it is his. And the cardiologist says, no, it's not his. The cardiologist could not believe that was the same man's scan because he didn't need a bypass.
Hey, Keith, you said 4 sachets a day. I need you to translate that for me. What the heck is 4 sachets a day?
So every sachet is 5 grams of pure elemental arginine. You open the sachet and you pour it into the shaker bottle and you mix it up.
Like
One sachet is 5 grams.
Like a little packet.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
It's like a little
he
stick pouch.
went up onto 4 sachets a day. So he was taking 1 sachet in the morning, an hour before breakfast. He took 2 sachets between breakfast and lunch, between lunch and dinner, sorry. And he took a sachet going to sleep. Or he did it the other way around. He took a sachet between lunch and dinner and he took 2 sachets going to sleep. So he had 3 different times of the day.
How much liquid does that 1 sachet have to go into?
Well, you mix a sachet or 2 sachets into whatever you're comfortable doing. As long as it's dissolved, it's fine. The main thing is it's dissolved and you drink it. But a lot of people would be mixing it in 200 mils for a sachet or 400 mils for 2 sachets. 400 mils would be about 16 ounces.
Hey, Ken, I have to tell you, you know, when you go off camera and your picture comes up, you know what I'm talking about? The picture that comes up? You're much cuter in person than that picture.
Oh, thank you, Lynn.
You are, honestly. You look too old in that picture. You look so cute and young when you're in person.
I think it has to do with the makeup on that picture because I was
I know. I
having
think you
makeup.
need a new picture with this pretty smile that you have. I would do that.
Oh,
And then
thank
get
you.
one of those pictures when we figure out how we're going to get you some of this stuff to get you fixed, because I don't like it that you're hurting.
Yeah, we actually talked to a guy in I talked to a guy in Scotland for one of my team back a few years ago who was told he needed a hip replacement, and he went on to the V3 along with collagen, but in less than 3 months he was no longer in pain, and he
Keith,
didn't
what
need a
can
hip
you try to
replacement.
figure something out for her? She really sounds like she wants to try it because she's young
Well,
and she shouldn't be having to deal with this.
I'll find I'll liaise with you and see if you have a contact in a country that is open there, and see that's closer. You know.
That's
Thank you,
good.
Keith.
What time is it
I
in Cambodia now?
It's 10:49 p.m. Monday night.
Oh, she's up this late wanting to find out about this, Keith. That's great.
Yes. And I also
Exactly.
want to ask Keith, like, when you take this, is there like any side effect? And I'm not talking about bad side effect, but like, for example, when I drink turmeric tea, it makes me sleepy or something like that.
Sometimes when somebody starts on the V3 protocol, they could feel tired in the early stages because the body is now realizing that it has the fuel to work on problems, and it's trying to shut you down to go to sleep because major repair happens when you're in deep sleep. So for the first going off, you could feel tiredness because the body's trying to get repair done. If you have vascular issues, and you could feel a bit of pain somewhere in the body as blood flow restores. So if you had a lack of blood flow getting up to the brain, and you start making extra nitric oxide, you're going to start vasodilating, opening blood flow, and you might feel that you have a headache, but it's not a headache. It's a restored blood flow to the brain that was missing. It's a very positive sign.
Will those headache feelings stop eventually?
Oh, they'll be gone in a day or two when the body gets used to the proper blood flow again.
Okay.
You see, you don't realize you went down the hill over years. But if you reverse
just
that
a
in a
little
short
bit
space of
each
time, it
time.
feels different.
Yeah, I think
Why
you don't
are we-
realize it because just it happens so subtly, just a little bit at a time.
Keith, why are we all so short of magnesium?
Because 9 people out of 10 are acidic. When your body knows that you're acidic, but it has to keep the pH of your blood at 7.365. It's going to take magnesium from your muscles, and it's going to take calcium from your bones and donate it to your blood to get your blood pH at 7.365, but it leaves you short of magnesium.
And isn't it true that there's lots of different types of magnesium?
Yeah, you can purchase different types of magnesium, but the body is going, if you have the correct fuel going into the system, which very few people have, the body is going to be able to do what it has to do. I'm not too well up on the different types of magnesium you can purchase, but I do know that most people should supplement with it.
Okay. Wow. I'll tell you, it's amazing. I thank you so much, Colleen, for letting me know he was going to be your speaker today, because I really never get this time with Keith. I don't really take time away from all my regular stuff to learn much and to come on these coffee chats. I'm loving this.
It's amazing what we can learn when we just sit down for an hour. And I know some people feel like an hour is a long time, but I feel like, Keith, you could go on and on. Like there's a lot of information packed in this.
That's
Those
what the actor
people
said to
that-
the bishop.
Yeah, those people that think that, ask them if they were going to speak about what they do, would an hour be too long for people, or would an hour not be long enough?
Right.
And then when they tell you it's not long enough, say, well, that's the kind of respect that we give to everybody, so that they all get a chance to speak about what they do.
Absolutely. So Keith, do you have, will you put in the chat information for everybody to reach you? And then I also want you to send it to me so I can post it with the replays of this.
I shall do that. The best
You've been
way
using the product for 17 years?
I have never stopped for 17 years.
Why did you originally go on the product, Keith? I mean, other than the fact that you think it's a good product, did you have an issue that made you say, hey, Rhea, I think I need to try this?
No, I was more worried about cancer because both of my parents died of cancer before the age of 60. So technically I was high risk. And then when I got this information, I realized that more people die from cardiovascular issues than cancer. So it would make sense to learn this also. But then I found out the main reason why people get cancer is because they have a poor immune system and they're acidic. So we have about 50,000 times in our lifetime, our immune system has to deal with abnormal cells. So if your immune system is not up to scratch, it can't deal with the abnormal cells where at the stage when it should be dealt with. But because, again, 9 people out of 10 are acidic, because people's immune system are poor, when there is an abnormal cell, it can explode into being cancer.
Have you shared this with Chris Pratt and Estella?
I had a one-to-one with both of them, yes.
Good. We love them both, and we know that they're both kind of struggling right now. I think I'm going to try to make sure that I put everybody on to you that I know is struggling with cancer, because I have lots of people right now.
Well, unfortunately, a lot of cancers at the minute, and all these turbo cancers are as a result of taking an experimental gene altering injection, which actually caused the cancer, because at the center of these turbo cancers are spike proteins. So there is an extra step that needs to be taken when that was the cause, because you need to block the spike proteins as well as regain the health.
Keith, can I give you a name now, and would you please send it back to me, and I will make a connection for you? I have a good friend that has been struggling with gut problems for a long time. They cannot figure it out. They're telling her it's a liver issue, but it's just weird, the information she's getting. And this has been going on for years. And I would love for you to talk to her, because I really think that she will listen to you. Her name is Anna, A-N-N-A, and her last name is Minkina, M-I-N-K-I-N-A. And she is in the United States, so she'd get flavors.
That's important. I like my flavors.
It's not all about the flavors. It's about
I know,
the
but it's
body
important to
area.
me.
You're the only one that's fixated on the flavors.
Listen, I was in the car with her one day, and she's like thinner than I am, and she was looking for a husband, always is, and she was driving, and she reached down between the seats and got this little tiny bottle, and she took the lid off and drank it, and I said, stop, don't drink that stuff. She said, why? It was like creamy, light yellow. And I said, I think that's a paint sample for my kitchen that's in the car. That's what it looked like. She said, oh no, it's some crazy stuff she was drinking, but it didn't do any good. If it was making her skinny, it didn't work. I mean, she's skinnier. She needs some of those jeans that have butts on them, because I don't think if you don't have a butt, a guy's not looking. So
She needs some want a better butt jeans, huh?
Yes, because a guy wants something to grab a hold of. He doesn't want nothing.
I have 2 daughters. One is was a lot thinner by nature, and the other one is more hippie and shapy than the other. And I always told them, you know what, they just need a soft place to land. Doesn't matter if it's
That's
thin
right.
or big, it
That's
just has
a
to be a
good
soft place
answer.
to
Oh
land.
my God. I'm going to
But
tell Anna.
there's
they
another
need a soft place to
there's
land.
another
Buy them.
saying, some are built for comfort and some are built for speed.
I can
Bring-
comfortably speed.
Yeah, you can always
There's
get
a
a good
Hemi in mine.
Pardon?
I said there's a Hemi in mine.
A Hemi. Okay.
I love it.
I got a Hemi under my hood. Okay, this was fun. Thank you guys for coming and joining me. I'm gonna turn the I'm gonna end this and we'll chat after I push stop.